Hey everyone, today we'll be making a front tied top with a lettuce hem, and I'll be showing how to make it with short and long sleeves. Trace the sleeve block, measure your wrist and half that number. Mark the number on each side of the center line, then mark up and out from the top line ½ inch and connect to the wrist. Reconnect and blend the top mark to the shoulder using the block. Mark ½ inch in the middle of the arm line and use a curved ruler from the top and bottom of the sleeve to create a curved sleeve shape. If I did this again, I would take the top in more and I would probably raise the underarm seam, but I'll show you that later on. Add 1/8 of an inch to 1/4 of an inch seam allowance and cut out the sleeve. Redraw the dart from the bottom of the original to the underarm. Mark in 6 millimeters from the center dart leg and redraw that dart leg. Cut up the middle of the dart to the underarm, then cut on the opposite side, leaving a few millimeters attached. Then tape close the dart. Draw a line continuing center front down a couple of inches, then line up the skirt block and rotate out the darts and trace the rest. Then bring in the bodice side 1 inch. Place the block on top and redraw armhole matching point to point. Draw a line continuing center front down a couple of inches, then line up the skirt block and rotate out the darts and trace the rest. Then bring in the bodice side 1 inch. Mark the shoulder in 1/2 inch and blend into the armhole. Place the ruler perpendicular to the hip 3 inches down and draw a line. Then blend into the other line that is also 3 inches down. Add 1/8 an inch seam allowance. Trace the back block. Measure the top dart width and draw from the edge of the shoulder, then blend and X out previous dart. Connect dart legs to underarm, bring in the middle line 6 millimeters. Cut up the middle of the dart to the underarm, cut another line on the opposite side with a few millimeters still attached. Tape dart closed. Repeat skirt block steps and use front pattern to smooth side. Pin the front bodice panels to right sides of the back panel at the shoulders. Serge or zigzag stitch to attach the shoulder seams. Pin the sleeve to the armhole right sides together, focusing on matching the center of the sleeve to the shoulder seam. You only really need one pin. Serge or zigzag the sleeve to the armhole. Pin the sleeve and side seams right sides to the other side, focusing on pinning the underarm, and same here, you only need one pin or only stick to a few, especially if you're using a serger. Serge or zigzag stitch from wrist to the waist. Cut one or multiple bias cut 1 inch wide strips of fabric that will fit around the center, front, and neckline. Fold in half and iron, then open and fold the raw edges towards the fold line and iron again. Sew onto the fabric right sides together at 1/8 of an inch seam allowance, then fold the other raw edge towards the inside of the garment and sew down. Serge or zigzag stitch bias tape made from self fabric from waist all around the front neckline all the way to the other end of the waist. Bias tape right side to the top at 1/8 of an inch. Fold in the other 1/8 of an inch of bias tape towards the inside with a straight stitch, gently pulling as you sew. Repeat bias tape steps on the wrist. Cut two 18-inch by 1-inch rectangles and serge or zigzag stitch at 1/8 of an inch seam allowance, while folded right sides together. Turn the two ties inside out with a safety pin. Pin and sew the ties on with a straight stitch. Now moving on to the short sleeve version. To make the sleeves short, fold them in half and mark 2 inches from the underarm, then use the ruler and line it up with the top of the sleeve and move it left or right until it matches the first mark. Mark along the ruler, then cut off the excess sleeve. Serge or use a zigzag stitch half on, half off of the edge of the fabric. While sewing, stretch the fabric as much as you can to create a lettuce hem. I ended up cutting off the excess from the bottom of the shirt to even it out and shorten it. use the lettuce hem on the bottom of the shirt. And that's it. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe. Bye!